Hi everyone, my name is Oscar DOLALAS. I am part of Just Jesus Ministry. I'm here to share my testimony, and I pray that it will edify some people out there. I was born in the Philippines many years ago. I am the oldest of 5. I have 3 brothers and 1 sister. We migrated to Australia in 1992. We were raised by our grandparents until the age of 10. So pretty much it was our grandparents that raised us. Although our parents was there, but it was practically our grandparents that was taking care of us. Life in the Philippines was pretty simple. We didn't really have much. We just live off the land and off the sea. My grandmother taught me how to plant the staple food, from sweet potatoes to cassava and whatnot. She taught me a lot. Taught me how to plant rice in the rice field. Remember going with her to the rice field while she's planting rice, and at times, just being a young boy, didn't understand what life is. I just sat in the corner some of the times collecting snails and playing with snails. I guess that's a valuable lessons that we can take, the simplicity of just knowing what life is all about and knowing the true definition of what is to be content. So my grandfather taught me to go out to the sea and catch lobsters and prawns and whatnot. There was one time where I was probably 7, where he took me out to the sea and just doing what he does, and that's one of my fond memories, I guess. But then I saw the bad side as well. My grandparents on my father's side weren't really religious. I have seen a fair share of my childhood, seeing my dad's uncle being murdered in front of my eyes, out in broad daylight. As I got older, my family moved to Australia. My auntie was already here. Petitioned my parents to come to Australia to live a better life, I guess. So we moved into my auntie's house and lived there for a few months until my parents could find a place of their own. Not long after, my parents did move out, and we had our own place and whatnot. My parents rented a place for a few months also until they bought a house. So going back to like growing up in the Philippines or spending my early days there, I wasn't really exposed to church. We didn't really go to church every Sunday. Not until I came to Australia, where my mom would sort of force us to go to church. It became religious. It became a mandatory, an obligation. It wasn't out of love or in any relationship with God. So my dad was a short-tempered man. So he was angry because he was always working. He would do 12 hours a day, and the little things, he would react and give us a taste of his wrath. But even though he was like that, but he was able to support his family. That's something I pretty much admire of my dad, because even like when he was growing up, like being the eldest in the family, he was always like a father figure to my uncle and my aunties, because my grandparents were never around, because they were trying to find a living of how to feed their children. So anyhow, when things goes for worse, when problem does arise, every domestic, my dad would run towards the kitchen. He would pull up a knife, and he would threaten my mom, and he would threaten me and my siblings, like shouting, "Gonna do this, I'm gonna do this." That's pretty traumatizing to see, like being at that age. I did have although I fear my dad, but I did have that murderous feeling towards him. Not until I came to the Lord that I don't feel that way no more. In fact, my relationship with my dad, even though it wasn't great back then, or even my relationship with my parents is not that great. I'm not, but now, like I honor them, I respect them. I have nothing but love for them. So anyway, school, I was okay, I guess. In fact, I wasn't okay. Bullying, I was bullied at school. I went to a Catholic school where predominantly it was an Anglo-Saxon kind of school, so I didn't really fit in. I didn't fit in the culture. I was different. I was Asian. I was brown. I think in the first week of school, I got into a fight already. But throughout my 6 years, I was bullied a fair bit. There was one time in geography board period, I sat in class by myself, and the constant, bombardment of just unnecessary remarks was just too much for me to bear, and I remember bursting out crying, and tears flowing my eyes and whatnot. Like even outside school, I experienced my racism, as well as my family experienced racism. I experienced racism at the shop, how this old lady told me to get out of the country or to go back to my own country. After school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I've taken courses, but the heart wasn't there for me to pursue. Like I got into drinking and smoking and just the party scene and whatnot. And up until maybe 2008, that's when my life just went down to a point where I was admitted to Bangaroo Hospital at Blacktown. I was there for 3 weeks. In my life, I had at least 3 mental breakdowns. I was actually molested. I didn't understand why. Depression, anxiety. I was in medication for many years before I came to the Lord. Things weren't going good for me. I don't understand why, but now I know. Even to a point where I got scammed. I was meant to open a shop where my business partner kind of ran off, and I was in debt. along with my two brothers. Gone to places that I'm not supposed to be going and got hooked to pornography. Yeah, I was pretty much lost. Until not long ago, about 4 years ago, the Lord found me. Prior to that, I was actually studying at TAFE, doing a diploma, which I finished. But one Thursday, I decided to catch the train to Mount Druitt. I think for some reason, my car was broken or something like that. So I caught the train, I went to TAFE, and then right after that, I went back to Mount Druitt station, and there was these strange people at Mount Druitt station, and they were singing. Something captivated my eyes, but they were at peace. I was in awe, like, what is this? You know, like everyone there in that congregation, they were wearing green and white. They were just happy and peaceful and just sing away. It was something different. They were glorifying the Lord. But you know, I didn't expect, you know, until a year later when I met a brother, came into my life. We worked at the same place. I think I started a few days before him. And then I met him, and he was a different person. He didn't cuss, he didn't curse, he didn't swear. Everything about him, his persona was like he was calm and composed. Like he was just a different person. And I started to get to know him. And the first question he asked me, "Do you know what baptism is?" I was a little bit arrogant, like having a little knowledge in Catholicism or whatnot, you know. Like I always had this mentality that the Catholic were the right church and whatnot. And to be honest, I didn't know what baptism was. I think I said to him like, "Oh, yeah, it's like when you're baptized when you're very young, like and then you receive the mark of Jesus or something." But being ignorant with the Bible, I really don't know. And then from there, you know, he explained the things in the Bible, and we got to share and fellowship. Not long after, maybe a few days after, I gave my life to the Lord at work. And then about a few days later, we were working on the same shift. And you know, he said to me, "Whenever you're ready, man, we're gonna do this." I was like, can I give you time? Can I give you, you know? I thought I was gonna go back to him and say, "Oh, maybe in a few days I'll say, yeah." But an hour later, I said yes. And then, yeah, I came to the Lord, got baptized on that day, and never came back. And that was 4 years ago. There's nothing out there in the world. I've seen what alcohol can do to you. I've seen what cigarettes can do to you. I've seen even smoking marijuana can do to you. Even the party scene, it's ugly. You know, even hanging out with friends with no purpose in life or no direction in life. But God has a purpose and has a calling in your life that it may put an impact or a change to other people that might not be walking right now. I don't want to go back because I do have love for my parents and my family. The only way to show love is to keep following Jesus, that they may see the Jesus in you, that they may come to Jesus. Not because you want them to come to Jesus, that they may experience having a relationship with God. That love that God has given us, you know, that it's irreplaceable. It's something that you hold on. That's just from me. The only reason why I want to keep walking is because I know that there is hope in Jesus. And I know that nothing's impossible with God. But it's only through your obedience that your family may come to Jesus. That's why I'm holding on. This world is going to perish soon. There's nothing left in this world. Even in the darkest time, even in the midst of your hopelessness. That Jesus is the answer for your solution. Jesus can fill that emptiness. We all want to seek other things, but Jesus has a greater plan for you, greater purpose, greater calling, Amen.